Can you see? Okay. All right, ready?
Yeah. So I'm Amy. And this is Ashley. And we are going to do our top brushes that we think that everyone should have in their kit. We're going to start with foundation. No, that's a lie, actually. We're actually going to start with eyes.
Eyes. Okay. So the first one that we have that we've both agreed on is the 239. This is a great brush because you can see it's a little bit stiffer, so it'll deposit the color really well, and it'll go on a lot stronger. So if you want a really strong deposit of color, you want like a heavy application, this is great for that.
Next is the 218, which is this one there. It's almost like the grown-up version of the last brush that we showed you, the 239. So basically what this is going to do is more like the look that I have, where everything's really all blended out. It's amazing for that. It like does all your work for you. And it's good too if you want like a really nice blended crease. It just gets right in there. This brush basically takes all the work out of blending.
This guy here is the 219. We like to call it the pencil brush for no particular reason, except that it looks like a pencil. This guy is really good if you want a really strong crease. Think kind of like almost Twiggy when she's got that really strong line in her crease. It's really good for that. It's also really good when you're doing a smoky eye to get right kind of underneath there and smudge it out and give it more out look. So that's 219.
Next is the 224. These brushes are all by MAC, by the way. We haven't mentioned that, but you can pick these up at any MAC store. The 224 is a brush that I love, and I feel like it does not get the credit it deserves. So what I use it for is when I'm done my eyes, I will use a really light, like a highlight color, whether matte or shiny, and almost like erase all the edges. So I use it to kind of go underneath the brow and buff everything out. I also love this for highlighting the cheeks, so using it right through there to highlight. It just gives you like a really nice highlight. It's small enough that it really buffs it nicely. So
I know we're doing this for eyes right now, but it's also really good for contouring kind of in the nose area, or even in here. It's really good for smaller areas of contouring.
Yeah,
I like to use
it's good for like detailed work, but it's actually going to blend too. So, yes.
Yay! And last but not least for eyes, I mean everybody has this guy in their kit. It is the Angle brush. It's the 263. Love this one for liner. So you can see me and Amy both have our winged liner on. It's also really good, you know, if you fill in your brows with an eyeshadow, or even going underneath if you want more of a definition of a line, you can get a little bit stronger as opposed to the pencil brush. So 263.
This is the pencil brush that she's
Angle brush.
Next is the 190. Now this, there are some mixed opinions on this in the makeup world. I like it because I personally like a lot of coverage with my foundation. I don't have the greatest skin of all time. So what I like about it is you literally paint your foundation on. It is synthetic, so you'd want it for like liquids or creams. But I love using this to just get like a really nice base all over the face before setting it.
Now I like this guy right here, the 130. This brush is basically foolproof. There's no streaks that you have to go in and fix. There's nothing. You just start and you just circular motion and just buff that foundation right out. You can also build with this one. It's not going to give as full of coverage as the one Amy was talking about, but you can still, you know, dab it into the areas where you need a little bit more coverage. It's just really easy to use this guy.
If you are feeling ambitious too, I even like doing it with this to lay it down and then using that over top to kind of buff it out. But we're talking like when you get a little bit more obsessed with makeup like this.
All right, next guy is the 187, aka the Dawn King brush. We like this guy for powder. It really helps once you're using your foundation, and if you're finding it's still not quite, you know, blended out the way you look, this will really help connect the two together, the powder and the foundation. It'll just really buff it in, and again, that circular motion just gives you really good coverage. So I love using this guy.
Next is the 109. Now, we're going to talk about contouring. I get a lot of questions about that, as I'm sure Ashley does, where people are like, how do I contour? It's not something that everyone needs to do every day. It's very like person-to-person basis. What I do like about this is when I'm doing more like fashion photography shoots, with this you get a really nice strong contour. So you can use it right through here to really carve out the face. It's amazing for foundation too, but this would give you a more dramatic contour. Not something that you'd want to see every day, but if you're doing a photo shoot, this is amazing to contour with.
I love this guy right here, the 138. The reason why I like this one, again, going back to even the foundation brush, it's foolproof for those who are just getting into makeup, who kind of want to learn, how to contour but not get that really strong definition, you can see it's got that angle, so it pretty much shows you exactly how you do it. So you just want to place that on there, and it'll create a really soft contour on the face, as opposed to something really strong like this guy right here. So.
Okay, so my favorite thing of all time is blush. I will never leave the house without it. I wear more than humanly necessary.
Average person.
No, a lot of blush. So I like the 116. It's never too much. Never too much blush. Don't listen. The 116 is my favorite blush brush, basically because it's fluffy enough that you do get a really nice blend, but it's a little bit flatter. It's not as fluffy as some of MAC's other brushes, and I'll literally like really load it up on the apple of the cheek and then kind of buff it out. I've even piled it on with this, and then with the 187 that we talked about earlier, kind of blended it out to give it more of that diffused look. But because I like a lot of blush, I love this type of brush here. So you can see it's kind of flat on one side. It's not super fluffy.
Again, going into what I like, it's a little bit softer, but that is a great brush. This one's just more everyday again. It's the 129. So it can actually be used as a powder brush or a blush brush. But I like this guy because the application, again, for those who are just getting into makeup, who are just, learning on what to do, it'll go on a little bit softer. And Amy explained it. It's great. You just start kind of in the apples and you can buff it out. Another trick I like going to blush is once you're done applying that, if you feel like it's a little bit stronger, go in with your foundation brush that has, whatever foundation left over on it. You can just go over and it almost look like it's peeking through the skin. So these guys are a good combination too.
Definitely. So those were our favorite brushes. We did sort of a quick look into how you can use them, but keep on watching because we're definitely going to do more in-depth ways to use brushes and get them to work for you and to create different looks.
How do we sign off?
Bye.
Bye. We should have something cuter than that.